President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to do whatever he can to keep every promise he made to Nigerians during the election campaign. President Muhammadu Buhari made this pledge in his message to Nigerians to usher in 2016. In a statement personally signed by him, the president acknowledges the difficulties being faced by businesses and ordinary Nigerians in their daily lives, especially regarding the ongoing fuel scarcity. He points out that living in the State House has not alienated him from the sufferings of the people, assuring that these challenges are only temporary as his government is working to make things better. Meanwhile, President Kagame of Rwanda's New Year televised speech was an opportunity to announce his intention to seek a third term in 2017. Last year, many suspected the approval of constitutional changes was a move to allow Kagame stay in office for years to come. In his New Year speech, President Kagame said, quote, "You requested me to lead the country again after 2017, given the importance and consideration you attach to this, I can only accept," end of quote. Kagame has been president since year 2000, but he has effectively been in control since his rebel force marched into Kigali to end the 1994 genocide. Security in Africa is still a major talking point across board. The year 2015 arguably saw a tipping point in the internal security of some countries like Central African Republic, Burundi, Sudan, to mention a few. These crises were exacerbated by homegrown militant groups like Boko Haram, the Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb and the Sahel, not to mention the movement for the liberation of Azawad in northern Mali. So, as we go into the year 2016, what steps should be taken by both individual governments and regional organizations to quell insurgency in Africa, or at least bring it to its barest minimum? Well, we will take a closer look at these issues as we bring in Captain Aliyu Umar, who joins me now in the studio to talk about this. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Network Africa.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So let's quickly talk about security in Africa. You know, it was a big issue last year. We saw a lot of boiling points.
Flashpoints.
Flashpoints, like you would use that word. I mean, for you, what was the most striking security breakdown and in what country in 2015 that could have been handled but was allowed to fester?
Well, looking at it, I would say it had to do with terrorism, attacks on civil population, innocent people. And I'll rather bring it to my home country, Nigeria. I particularly go to what happened in Baga and also what happened in Maiduguri to the military units. These were security setbacks that were avoidable. Avoidable if actually a problem had been given the precedence and the importance it required ab initio. That wasn't done. Generally, there was a wait and see approach to it, and at a point in time, it virtually spiraled out of control with very high costs in terms of people, in terms of property, and other allied and collateral, related issues. So I'm looking at a situation where I think in Africa, 2015, the threat of terrorist attacks went just beyond
ballistic.
Exactly.
I would say.
In fact, I think it grew exponentially. It grew exponentially, not because the resources for the terrorists were there per se, but because the responses from law enforcement agencies most likely underestimated the capacity or the capability of these terror sects.
So how would you rate the handling of security-related issues in Africa? Just like you have mentioned, the responses were that of, let's just wait and see, it's not so big, and then it became so big.
If I were to rate it on a scale of 10, I'll put it on 3. That sounds a bit daunting, but it shows there is room for improvement. There is much to be done. And if we're really up to it, if we put ourselves to it, 2016 is an opportunity for us to actually look back at all the things we have done wrongly wrongly, because now that we've done so much wrong, then there should be little left to do wrong and so much left to do right. So wrongly should actually draw lessons for us. Let's cross the T's where they are not crossed, dot the I's where they are not dotted, and let's not look to see a repetition of that same road we're coming from. So I believe we should come into 2016 stronger, wiser, and better.
So let's break it into two now. What was the biggest wrong that was done in terms of security response in Africa? And how can we best curtail it, address it, and move forward in 2016?
In terms of security response, Africa generally, I want to believe from what I have seen that our security agencies haven't raised the bar consistently to meet the trends.
What are these trends?
Where terrorism, even other than terrorism, we're looking at intelligence. We're looking at strategic and national intelligence. Strategic intelligence for us, for example, sub-Saharan Africa coming to Nigeria, is taking it beyond what is happening at home to what is happening within your sub-region. Who is doing what? How is he doing it? What are the implications? Where are we coming from? What is trending? And where could it be going, say, in the next 5 years? That way, you will not be caught napping at the very least, because you anticipate. We don't tend to have this culture of anticipation across Africa when it comes to security. We just tend to drift on autopilot and react to situations as they occur, as opposed to responding. If you have strategic intelligence capabilities and you pay more attention to that, you will respond as we trend along, as opposed to react when it happens.
Okay, so now we have seen the response part and also following the trend, as you have mentioned. Let's now look at, because the AU had put together a standby force late last year. That means that, in quote, we have men. What should we be doing in terms of intelligence? Because as it is now, this has gone beyond, should I say, guerrilla war? Guerrilla, permit me to use that word.
It's an attrition war.
Exactly. How should Africa deal with that part?
So the AU bringing together men and resource is wonderful. It's commendable. But I tell you something, all the assistance we can receive from developed countries of the Western Hemisphere will amount to nothing if we do not task ourselves on two aspects.
Which are?
Imagination and innovation. Our problems within Africa, nation by nation, are actually local to us.
Right.
So our security chieftains need a bit more imagination, and they need to be a little bit more innovative as against stereotype. There will be no room for antagonism. There will be no room for differences across either lingual biases or political biases, no. It's one threat, and we have to look at it holistically. And while doing that, we must task our imagination. We must also do it with a bit of innovation. All the equipments that we can be assisted with from the Western Hemisphere
from the UN,
exactly. Wherever these equipments are coming from, those equipments will be run and operated by us, Africa people.
Right.
So our native ability is the biggest leverage we have against those who come to our homeland to wage war against us.
Our native ability.
Exactly, our native ability.
Captain Ali Omar, thank you so much. He's a security expert. Hopefully, security situation in Africa will improve in 2016.